Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow. IFS is a psychotherapy model. It's super fast growing. Like for a therapist to get into a level 1 training, which is from the institute that basically hosts IFS, there's like thousands of people trying for like 32 spots. So the concept is that there's a multiplicity of mind. So in yours, it's like you have a saboteur, right? They're different parts. So we all have these different parts of us, and they'll have roles. So the two primary roles are, one is a protector. So protect the system. One will manage things, and then another one will jump in reactively when emotions get out of control. And the other part's role will be a part that holds a wound. So it actually gets injured and it holds that wound. And every time it wants to come back up because it wants to heal that, then that same pain comes with it. And once that pain comes in, so let's say the pain is shame. I'm bad. Something's wrong with me. It comes up. It did not get what it needed to be able to resolve that at the time. It starts to come up. Now, managing parts need to manage that. So the ones that are like, I'm going to be a good student, or I'm going to be really smart, or I'm going to be pretty all the time, or funny, or I'm, things like that. And when it doesn't work, then the reactive firefighter ones come in. And that could be any addiction. That could be rage, anger, drinking. Could be extreme self-talk, could be gambling, all the way up until suicide, right? And suicide actually has a good intention, but the impact is definitely not necessarily good, right? And then when you have those parts, we have ourself. So that's what we had talked about earlier, right? You come in with it at birth, you leave with it at death. It's your soul, your spirit. It's just kind of all knowing. But when there are things happening, like there's traumatic things going on or so on, parts all take over, and then self is kind of evacuated for the most part. So it's like the self would be like the sky and the parts would be like the clouds. But if you're in the Pacific Northwest, 9 months, the clouds are in front of the sky. Sky's not hurt, but the longer it goes, you just feel there's no more sky. And people's like, well, I got to go find myself. It's actually there. It's just kind of covered up. So in IFS, it's basically building the relationship between self and parts. And then the relationship, once it's strong enough with the protective parts, that allow self to go to the parts that hold the wounds, heal the wounds, because they're not their wound, right? They just hold that wound. And then those other parts that we're protecting they don't have to protect that way anymore. So instead of me going to, you named it, I think in your model, it would be like saboteur. Instead of me having to convince this one to calm down and this one to kind of come up, what's happening is we're building relationships between self and these parts, and then being able to go to the part that holds the wound that gets these ones to actually do what they're doing and heal that up. And then that one spouts back to its fun-loving self, and then there's nothing to protect against anymore. This is, you don't need a prison guards if there's no more prisoners. If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.